administer and control the PNP. Later, we will be sitting down with new Napolcom Commissioner, Attorney Rafael Calinisan.
We begin tonight with the flight of almost 7,000 residents affected by Typhoon Ofel in the province of Cagayan. One of the most heavily hit is the town of Santa Ana.
Help is starting to pour in, but unfortunately, the national road, which is the only way in and out of the town, has been destroyed by the parade of cyclones in recent weeks.
And now let's check the situation on the ground with Brian Basa, who is reporting to us live this evening from Cagayan. Brian, how's the weather there so far, and are there still flooded areas in Cagayan?
Good evening, Gretchen, Sean, and Pawi. As of this time, it's a fair weather that's greeting us here at Gonzaga, in Gonzaga town. Actually, we're just standing a few meters away from Santa Ana. Medyo nandito tayo sa boundary. But even as the weather is fair, even if the flood has already let up in all the areas in the town, ito pa rin, ano? We still see the signs of the destruction left by Typhoon Ofel in Cagayan province. Case in point, what's behind me are piles upon piles of soil. Our officials or personnel from DPWH, the Public Works Department, are working double time. They're working day and night to make sure that these piles upon piles of soil are being placed to fill the gaps left by eroded approaches or ramps of that destroyed portion of the national road. Kasi di ba, ang report natin earlier, I think the report was just last night, di ba? Merong tulay na naging inaccessible because yung both sides pala ng tulay na to, yung ramp that connects it to the ramp that connects the bridge to the road, yun yung nag-erode dahil sobrang lakas ng baha. So ngayon, ang ginagawa ng officials to make sure that this lone passageway in and out of Santa Ana, Cagayan is becomes passable, ito ngayon ang pinupuno nila ng lupa para makonect na ulit yung bridge to both sides of the national road. So yung mga tao from Santa Ana can go to Gonzaga and neighboring towns. Ganon din naman yung mga from Gonzaga going to Santa Ana. Ladies.
Brian, we're seeing people behind you crossing that bridge. Is that correct that you are in the bridge itself? And paano na yung mga sasakyan, ano? And in terms of engineering, what was wrong with this bridge? Did they not foresee it? That it was that vulnerable?
When we asked the OIC Regional Director of DPWH Cagayan Valley, ang sabi niya is ang lakas talaga ng baha. So kahit pa lagyan ng bakal yung ramp na yon, kasi I asked, would it have made a difference kung nilagyan ng bakal yon? Kasi walang bakal eh. It was the whole structure is made of concrete. It still would not make a difference dahil the whole approach was carried away by the flood. Also, ang tinitingnan nilang pinaghihinala ang contributing factor are logs, yung trunks of trees that were washed here coming from the mountains. I think this is Sierra Madre, yung nakikita natin dito. Mukhang dyan lang galing yung mga malalaking troso na dito napunta. And ang suspecha ng officials ay itong mga trosong ito dahil nga sa lakas ng agos ng baha nung kasagsagan ng bagyong Ofel, ito yung tumatama dun sa lupa o ito yung tumatama dun sa structure, which made it easier for the flood to topple down or to literally slice off those portions of the national road. So ang effect, eto, kami nakapark lang dito sa harap, yung mga motorcycles hindi rin makapass through. The people here, they have no choice but to go down sa gilid, sa palayan, and then cross the river. But it's nighttime here, and when it's nighttime, it's dark. So it's risky for the people to go down. So they will have to wait until sunrise for them to cross the river, ladies.
All right, Brian, actually, no, tama ka. In fairness, nakatayo pa rin yung tulay. It is the national road doon sa bandang, siguro around the river banks, the banks of the water na lumambot at nahulog. But apart from that, no, I'm actually kind of relieved na yan ang fino-focus natin right now kasi kung yan lang yung pinakamalalang salanta or at least nasakuna na nagyari dyan, okay na rin. Kamusta naman yung mga tao? Sa videos mo, we see some people moving around. It looks like they're crossing in shallow portions of the river. Nakakagalaw na ba yung mga tao, yung mga evacuees, or are they still being told to stay put in the evacuation centers?
Yeah. As soon as the rains let up, as soon as the weather became fair, nagsiuwian na from the evacuation centers ang evacuees because they say that's how fast recovery happens here in Santa Ana. Kapag pagkatapos ng bagyo, pag umaraw na, agad bumabalik sa kanilang mga pang-araw-araw na gawain yung mga tao because they are used to this kind of experience. They're used to having calamities pass through their town. So the expectation is they know what to do before, during, and after the storm. That's why you see here, medyo nahihiya lang yung mga kababayan natin, but yes, we see people who are standing by here on the bridge. They're saying hi to their loved ones. Nagvi-video call yung iba nakikimarites, nagkukwentuhan. So you see everyday activities happening here in Santa Ana. Talagang back to normal agad ang sitwasyon dito, ladies.
Okay, Brian, I believe the Alagang Kapatid Foundation is also there to help those who were displaced by the typhoons. Kamusta naman yung relief operations nila dyan?
Alagang Kapatid Foundation has been consistent in its goal to reach as many towns in Cagayan as possible. So kanina, while we are covering the developments here on the bridge, they made it here. Yun nga lang, sa other side, because we are here on the, yung papuntang Santa Ana side sila, yung pa Gonzaga side pa lang. What they did was they had to, carry the sacks of relief goods sa river. As in talagang isa-isa nilang binuhat yung mga sakong yan, napakabigat. So the good thing that they had volunteers from the Lyceum of Apari to help them kasi we recall that Alagang Kapatid Foundation has set up its base in Apari town so that mas madali nilang ma-penetrate yung ibang areas. They were able to hand out 200 packs here in Barangay Kasambalangan. That particular barangay has some of the most, parang yun yan yung pinakamaraming evacuees here in Santa Ana. It's a low-lying area kasi malapit sa coastal area. So we could see kanina yung happy faces nila because dumating ang tulong mula sa Alagang Kapatid Foundation. Ladies.
Brian, we do know that there's still another one coming, Pepito, who is forecasted to be a super typhoon. Last I heard, it was probably going to make landfall in Aurora. How are people preparing over there for that?
Yes, they're expecting na it's not going to be as strong as Typhoon Ofel when it hit Cagayan. Kasi obviously Santa Ana is on Ofel's trail. As far as Pag-asa is concerned, ang estimate nila is mas mataas ang storm surge sa bandang Bicol region in Catanduanes. But even if Cagayan is far from Catanduanes, di ba? Yung not fear exactly, pero more on anxiety, yung pangamba nila, andoon pa rin. Because this is the 7th consecutive storm, you're right. So parang paulit-ulit na silang pupunta sa evacuation centers. Babalik na naman sa normal activities and the cycle goes on and on and on. So with that, ganun pa rin ang paalala ng mga otoridad. In the words of the MDRRMO, the Municipal Disaster Management Officials, wag na sanang matigas ang ulo ng mga residente. If the authorities tell them to evacuate, kahit na, for example, wala pang ulan na dumarating, pag sinabing mag-evacuate na. That's exactly the point of preemptive evacuation. The goal or what the government wants is for the people to move to safer ground ahead of the storm para wala ng disgrasya. So ganun pa rin ang constant reminder nila. Nag-iikot-ikot sila sa mga evacuation centers, nag-iikot-ikot sila sa mga barangay to remind the residents of this very, very important measure. Ladies.
We do know Cagayan is a catch basin dealing with water from the coastal areas and also from the Sierra Madre.
And Isabela, it is called Cagayan Valley for a reason. Well, thank you so much and keep safe. Brian Basa reporting to us live from the province of Cagayan up north.
While Typhoon Ofel unleashed its wrath in Cagayan, one mayor in the province was also venting on social media. On Facebook, Alcala Cagayan Mayor Tin Antonio said Pag-asa never told them essential information, that Ofel changed track, that it will make landfall in Bagao, and that they are directly on the path of the typhoon. Antonio also asked why the State Weather Bureau only announced Ofel's landfall at 2:07 p.m. on Thursday, or 37 minutes after it happened. But Pag-asa says there was no lapse on its part. In fact, they have been issuing advisories and reminders every 3 hours from the entry until the exit of the typhoon. Pag-asa adds that while Ofel did not make landfall in other places in Cagayan, including Antonio's municipality, nearby areas should have still prepared just the same.
Hindi naman po talaga dumaan po ng Alcala po ang bagyo.
Kahit na sa isang particular na bayan lang na tumama ang sentro, but of course the same effects ang maramdaman nito ng mga karatig bayan.
Mayor Tin Antonio has yet to comment on Pag-asa's explanation, but she earlier said there was preemptive and forced evacuation in Alcala.
And as Tropical Storm Ofel continues to move away from the landmass of the country, all eyes are now on Tropical Storm Pepito, which has already entered the Philippine area of responsibility and has now rapidly intensified into a typhoon. Pepito is slowly making its way along the country's eastern portion. The question now is, where is Pepito headed exactly? And where will the center of the typhoon hit land? Let's head on over to Pag-asa for some answers. Joining us tonight from the State Weather Bureau is Dan Villamil, Pag-asa weather forecaster. Dan, can you give us the latest on Bagyong Pepito? Meron bang mga updates? May nagbago ba sa kanyang forecast track?
Good evening, ladies, sa ating mga viewers here. So yung latest location po natin as of 4 p.m. today, yung center ni Bagyong Pepito ay nasa layong 465 kilometers east of Giwan, Eastern Samar. Isa pa itong typhoon, patuloy na lumalakas, may taglay na lakas ng hangin na malapit sa gitna na umaabot ng 150 kilometers per hour and pagbugso na umaabot ng 185 kilometers per hour. Yung movement po nito, patuloy na west-northwestward sa bilis na 30 kilometers per hour.
Dan, ano ang forecast natin dito sa Bagyong Pepito? Siya ba ay hihina o lalakas pa patungo sa kalupaan?
So sa ngayon, yung forecast landfall scenario natin ay dito sa area or sa vicinity ng Catanduanes. Pero hindi natin tinatanggal yung possibility ng landfall over any part of Bicol Region area. And in terms of heavy rainfall, as early as tomorrow, makakaranas tayo ng malalakas na pag-ulan sa ilang area ng Eastern Visayas. And starting tomorrow, araw ng Sabado, mas rarami pa yung mga lugar na makakaranas ng mga pag-ulan. Mas lalakas rin yung mga ulan na ito, especially sa area ng Bicol Region. Magpapatuloy dito sa Eastern Visayas, pati na rin dito sa Greater Metro Manila area and nearby provinces. So dito sa area ng Central Luzon, as well as Calabar Zone, starting tomorrow, magsisimula na yung mga malalakas na pag-ulan na dala ni Bagyong Pepito.
Okay, Dan, yesterday naglabas yung Pag-asa no, ng yung rain forecasts. Yung rainfall forecasts, actually, yung probability, I think bagong gawa ninyo ito. Medyo nakakatakot siya kasi kung makikita natin, no, napakaraming areas makakaranas ng intense to heavy to moderate rains. Yun yung kinakaambahan natin right now, no? Yung maraming ulan na dala nitong bagyo. Bukod sa super typhoon siya at malakas yung hangin. In terms of rain, how much rain can we expect? Ganun pa rin ba yung nakikita ninyo na marami itong dalang ulan?
Yes po, so as of yung latest weather advisory na atin ngang in-issue as of 5 p.m. today, yung concentration ng mga malalakas sa pag-ulan na dala nitong si Bagyong Pepito, ito yung tinatawag nating intense to torrential rains, greater than 200 millimeters of rainfall, concentrated po dito sa eastern section ng Luzon, so sa area ng Aurora, Quezon Province, Bicol Region, pati na rin sa some parts of Eastern Visayas, dito po concentrated yung mga pag-ulan na dala na rain bands ni Bagyong Pepito. So hindi lang po dito yung mga lugar na makakaroon sa pag-ulan, no? May mga pag-ulan rin po tayo tulad ng sinabi ko kanina sa area ng Greater Metro Manila area, Central Luzon, as well as dito sa mga areas ng Calabarzon.
Pagdating naman sa hangin, kasi yun naman ang sinasalamin nung mga signal number 1, 2, 3, and 4. Ano nga inaasahan natin sa dalang hangin ni Bagyong Pepito?
Yes po, so as of 5 p.m. nga, so isa-isayin ko po yung mga areas. As of 5 p.m. may tropical cyclone wind signal number 2 tayo dito sa eastern portion ng Northern Samar, itong northern portion ng Eastern Samar, at sa northeastern portion ng Samar area. Signal number 1 naman dito sa areas ng Aurora, Quezon, dito sa eastern portion ng Laguna, sa area ng Marinduque, sa Camarines Provinces, sa area ng Catanduanes, dito sa Albay, Sorsogon, pati na rin dito sa Masbate. Sa Visayas, may signal number 1 rin dito tayo sa area ng rest or sa nalalabing bahagi ng Northern Samar, sa rest of Eastern Samar, sa rest of Samar, pati na rin dito sa area ng Biliran. Kaya itong wind signal po natin, may palugit tayo or warning lead time. So possible within the next 24 hours, kahit sa ngayon wala pa tayong nararanasang mga pagbugso ng hangin. For the next 24 hours, asahan natin in anticipation sa papalapit na Bagyong Pepito, mararanasan na natin itong mga malalakas sa pag-ulan, especially sa mga areas under wind signal number 2. And dahil nga patuloy na lumalapit itong Bagyong Pepito, at inaasahan nga natin na posible pa itong lumakas into a super typhoon category. Yung highest wind signal na posible nating i-issue sa bagyong ito ay wind signal number 5 pag malapit na po ito sa area ng Southern Luzon area.
Okay, Dan, bakit nangyayari itong sunod-sunod na bagyo, no, na tumatama dito sa Pilipinas? 6 tropical cyclones in as many as weeks. Yung una, si Julian pa, no, which happened nung last week of September. Dan, may kinalaman ba ito sa La Nina o sa climate change?
Well, sa ngayon po medyo active nga yung ating Pacific Basin, no. So as a result, for the past few weeks, actually starting last month, sunod-sunod po yung mga namuong low pressure areas, weather disturbances, and in addition na kung saan yung track na dinadaanan nila favorable yung environment. As a result, naging bagyo yung mga ito. At kung napansin nga natin, halos magkakaparehas yung track nila, similar track sila, almost halos lahat ng bagyo na ito naapektuhan or at least tumama dito or lumapit sa area ng Northern Luzon.
Huling tanong na lang, no, bago ka namin pakawalan. Ilang bagyo pa ba ang pwede natin i-expect ngayong taon ng 2024? Dadami pa ba ito? I know December usually tatama sa Mindanao. So ganun pa rin ba yung nakikita niyong trend for this year? Gawa ng may La Nina tayo?
Yes po, so yun pa rin yung scenario natin nakikita, no? So before the year ends, for December, 1 to 2 pang bagyo ang ating inaasahan. 1 to 2 tropical cyclones na posibleng mamuo or pamasok ng ating Philippine Area of Responsibility. And tama nga po yung sinabi mo, no? Mas mababa na yung track ng mga bagyo towards the end of the year. So possible, yung mga areas na direktang matatamaan na ng bagyo ay itong area ng Southern Luzon, Eastern Visayas area.
Maraming salamat para sa updates. Tututukan pa namin, no, ang sunod-sunod na updates mula sa Pag-asa. That was weather forecaster Dan Villamin. Maraming salamat.
Up next, ever wondered what happened to Seaman First Class Jeffrey Facundo, who lost a finger during the June Welcome back. You're still watching the big story here on One News.
People are still talking about former President Rodrigo Duterte's appearance at the Comm hearing in Congress on Wednesday. Vice President Sara Duterte is talking about it too. She called her father's demeanor a mere performance that just earned him a prize for, quote, Best Dramatic Actor. Marian Enriquez with the report.
Former President Digong flying into sudden rage, making a punching gesture at a woman and former senator, until his challenge to the International Criminal Court to come and get him already.
I'm asking the ICC to hurry up. This issue has been left hanging for so many years. Matagal man, baka mamatay na ako, hindi na nila ako maimbestiga.
These images of her father during the Quad Committee hearing on November 13 did not surprise Sara Duterte anymore. In fact, the Vice President said her conversation with the dad, she still calls mayor, was as casual as it could be.
Sabi niya, kumusta yung performance ko? And I said, best dramatic actor. Sabi niya, you have to rate me from 1 to 10. Sabi ko, you're a 12.
Where could Digong be coming from? The VP only had this to say.
Kayo na lang yung umintindi. Nakikita niyo naman sa ginagawa niya eh. So, nakikitang-kita.
What everyone also saw was Sara's unannounced appearance at the Quad inquiry. She explained that she dropped by just to remind her father to eat, even while the public hearing was going on. And while the Vice President was already in the audience, the House Good Government Committee did not waste time. Sara was given a letter of invitation to the panel's next hearing to explain confidential funds spent by the OVP and the DepEd she used to lead, amounting to more than 612 million pesos. But Duterte says she is still not going.
Inipitan nila ako isang beses lang doon sa unang-una. Pumunta ako, umupo ako doon, hindi man nila ako tinanong, kaupo lang ako doon. Nasasayang yung oras ko, kaya nagpaalam ako kung pwede akong umalis.
But for Good Government Committee Chairman Congressman Joel Chua, there was no use questioning the VP at that time since she refused to take an oath.
Kasi under sa rules namin, dapat lahat ng mga tatanungin ay magtitake ng oath. Wala rin namang magiging saysay kung ano yung sasabihin niya kung di naman siya magtitake ng oath.
Chua's committee has repeatedly extended an invitation to Duterte since then, but none was accepted. For lawmakers, this goes to show that the VP has no intention at all to show up, nor explain how her agencies spent taxpayers' money. For News 5, I'm Marian Enriquez. We are One News.
Meanwhile, Defense Secretary Gilbert Teodoro rejects China's warnings about the plan of the Philippines to buy modern military equipment similar to those from the U.S. This all started when the U.S. parked its Typhoon mid-range capability missile launcher in the Philippines. American forces brought it here for the first time in April ahead of the annual Balikatan exercises. The Philippine government expressed its dreams of one day acquiring missile launchers just like the Typhoons.
We are planning to have such kinds of capabilities. I'm not saying the Typhoon. I'm saying such kinds of capabilities.
Note that a Typhoon weapon system could launch missiles up to 2,000 kilometers away, and that's enough to target possible intruders in the West Philippine Sea. According to Chinese Foreign Ministry spokesperson Lin Jian, they've been repeatedly opposing this move by the Philippines to bring in what they call an offensive strategic weapon that will just fuel tensions and antagonism in the region. Lin also urged the Philippines to heed what they referred to as a call from the region to correct its wrongdoings by quickly pulling out the Typhoon missile system from the country. This is what Secretary Teodoro had to say to that.
I think the whole world knows who is on the right path and the wrong path. Definitely, we cannot take advice from people who distort the truth. And nobody believes them anyway. No? So I think it's a waste of airtime to broadcast the claims of China because only their leadership believes in what they say anyway.
Note that aside from China, Russia had earlier expressed concern on the deployment of America's missile system in the Philippines. The Russian government said it might spark an arms race that could elevate tensions in the region.
Meanwhile, remember the Filipino soldier who lost a thumb during a standoff with China in Ayungin Shoal last June? Well, he actually underwent several medical procedures to help him regain function of his severed thumb. Here's the story of how that went.
It was June 17, 2024, when the Philippine Navy encountered the most aggressive actions yet from the Chinese Coast Guard on a rotation and resupply mission to the BRP Sierra Madre in Ayungin Shoal. Carrying bladed weapons, Filipino soldiers were harassed, tear-gassed, and met with blaring sirens and blinding strobe lights. With tempers raging, the encounter quickly turned bloody. A Chinese boat rammed a Filipino boat, causing Seaman First Class Jeffrey Facundo to lose his thumb. Yet the Philippine Naval Special Operations Command, our version of the U.S. Navy SEALs, kept their restraint.
So as we award these medals, we remember that on June the 17th, we made a conscious and deliberate choice to remain in the path of peace.
But what happens now to a commando who has to live on with an impairing disability? In hopes to restore his finger, the AFP Medical Center, Makati Medical Center Foundation, and Congressional Spouses Foundation teamed up to help Seaman Facundo for a procedure called thumb lengthening.
Ang thumb niya nun is maiksi na lang. So halos wala na ito. So maiksi na lang siya. Close na yung wound, medyo maganda na yung sugat. So ang gagawin lang talaga sa kanya nun is paano ibabalik yung function niya sa makakagawa siya ng mga activities of daily living like magsusulat or kukuha ng kutsara, magbubukas ng pinto.
Because you have to harvest the skin with the blood vessels. At the same time, gusto mo din kasi maliban sa buhay, gusto mo may pakiramdam. So we also have to harvest the nerve. Along with the skin, nakita dun sa task na significantly improve siya by 20 to 30%.
Thankfully, the operation was successful, and it lighted up hopes that this public-private partnership will open more doors in caring for our disabled soldiers.
So it's the first joint surgery. There are a lot of ongoing projects between Makati Med and AFP Medical Center, and especially geared towards helping the battle casualties, and specifically to wound care. It's a public-private partnership to offer services for the battle casualties, specifically in wound care and trauma.
Napakalaking nito yung medical conditions ng na hindi ka mag-worry na even malaking operasyon ang kailangan mo o mahal ito aabutin, hindi ka mag-worry as a sundalo, and you can concentrate on your heroism and sacrifice for the country, knowing at the back of your mind na kahit anong mangyari sa'yo, kung ano man maging condition mo, the AFP has your back.
Gaano kahalaking bagay sa'yo na nabalik mo na yung paggalaw mo?
Malaking bagay. Pero halos 50% ng lahat ng activity na nagagawa ko, wala na. Yung 50% na natitira. At least meron pa. May purpose pa rin ng Panginoon. Binigyan pa rin ako ng bone lengthening. Sa tulong na binigay niyo po sa pag-opera sa kamay ko, at sa lahat po ng bumubuo ng Makati Medical Foundation po. Salamat po sa mga taong tumulong po sa akin at sumubagay na tumutulungan ako ng taos puso po. Wala man po akong naibigay sa inyo na tulong. Nagpapasalamat po ako ng taos puso sa inyo.
Bayani ka na?
Ay, hindi. Lahat naman po ng nandoon bayani. Hindi lang naman ako.
Gretchen Ho, We Are One News.
We're going to take another quick break, but up next, we'll be speaking with lawyer Rafael Cali.
Welcome back. You're still watching the big story here on One News. Well, Napolcom has a new commissioner after the resignation of Edelberto Leonardo. And we have him with us tonight. Welcome to the big story, Attorney Rafael Calinisan. Congratulations on the new appointment to Napolcom.
Salamat po.
Well, thank you for coming over. We understand.
Big day.
Day one pala.
Day one po today. I started my 7:30 a.m. in the office already, and it's inaantok na nga ako eh. This is my second cup in the past 30 minutes.
Well, you're not new to this kind of job. You were chairman of the QC People's
Law Enforcement Board,
the pleb.
Yes.
You've been trying policemen. What is your mandate here, and how did this appointment fall on your lap?
So I got wind of this appointment Tuesday. Pero long playing ito eh. I actually met with the president last year pa. And very clear instructions sa akin ni President Marcos was to clean the police force. Pero as we all know, there are fixed terms in Napolcom. So 6-year term yun eh. So there was really nothing much to discuss. Actually, si Presidente very hands-on. If you would remember, kung na nagsabi, ako ang chairman ng pleb, Quezon City. And he was interested to know all of the cases in Quezon City. So I salute the President. So from there, ang directive niya, ang mandate niya is to actually clean the police force. And more or less, natatansya ko na where this is heading. So, but since wala namang directly sinabi sa akin, but I met the President actually 4 more times after that. In the presidential trips abroad in US and Vietnam and in our reunion in La Salle Green Hills. It's the same direction. It's the very clear, clean the police force. And nangyari yung mga nangyari, Quadcom happened, revelations happened, sadly some mismanagement happened in the National Police Commission. There were vacancies. And I got wind of my appointment last Tuesday. Hindi ko naman na ina-expect. So it was more or less, more than a year in the making. And ready naman tayo eh. Doon pa natin ginagawa. Kumbaga, hindi alam ng tao, hindi ganun ka-publicized yung trabaho natin. And we're ready.
Yun nga eh. I was just gonna say, attorney, no, na yung Napolcom kasi hindi siya masyadong people-facing. Kasi police talaga yung minamanage ninyo eh, di ba? Kumbaga, paparusahan, like this, try to find a way to make it better. Now, for those who don't understand what the function of the Napolcom is, what do you think, being an outsider, but I understand, I already Googled you, and I understand your dad.
Bagay nga sa last name niya, Calinisan.
Oo nga, yun yung sinabi ko. Sabi ko, napakabagay naman. Ang ganda naman ng last name nung bagong commissioner, Calinisan. Pero your parents were both in the service.
Yes, correct.
Right? So how do you, what do you see, no? And I'm sure you've heard about the stories from your dad. Going into this new job, since day one pala, may mga broad plans ka ba? Or is it more like figuring out what they're doing and trying to just
No,
adjust?
I'm ready. I'm ready. And I'm hitting the ground running. So since 7:30 ng umaga until before I came here, no, I had a series of meetings. Hindi ko nga sinabi sa kanila, I'm arriving 7:30 earlier than all of them. So mula sa taong kasabay ko sa elevator, sinundan ko, led to another meeting, So I met with the Association of Employees. I met with the Integrity Management Office there, Investigation Service. I met with the Legal Service. I met with the regional directors already. Kumbaga nakausap ko na ang lahat ng stakeholders in day one. Alam ko na rin ang gagawin. Kasi handa na ako eh. Kumbaga,
Pero attorney, anong difference ng Napolcom sa Internal Affairs Service within the PNP?
sobrang laki. Actually, let me differentiate. Dagdag ko na yung pleb kasi advocacy ko yan eh. So yung Napolcom, constitutional body yan. So under Article 16 of the Constitution, yun yung administers and controls the national police. So kumbaga meron talagang dinikta yung framers of the Constitution na isang check and balance mechanism which is the National Police Commission. There shall be one police force, national in scope and character, to be administered and controlled by the
So you
National
have
Police
authority over the PNP?
Yes, the National Police, the PNP reports to the National Police Commission. Yung IAS on the other hand, Gretch, ito yung internal lang sa PNP. In fact, they're only recommendatory. Wala silang ngipin eh. So they can just investigate and recommend to the Chief PNP. So si Chief PNP yung bahala kung he will accept or not yung recommendation ng IAS. Whereas yung pleb, yung pinanggalingan natin, ito yung least known of all of these three. Ito yung People's Court, People's Investigator. So, yun naman ordinary person ang nakasampa doon, a complaint comes in, then the pleb investigates and hears the case. Yun ang difference. But yung pleb,
Para
malakas din
siyang
yun.
PAW.
Hindi, iba rin yung PAW.
Iba rin.
Malayong-malayo yung PAW. So, totally
so
ibang
the
planeta
pleb
yun.
is composed of ordinary citizens?
Ordinary citizens.
Parang citizens court.
Citizens Court. It's a citizens
So
court.
where is it tried? Kayo mag-file ng case sa korte?
No, they try it with us.
With
so
the
we are the
pleb.
judges. We're the
Okay.
investigator judges. So kami nagdedesisyon kung are you gonna be suspended, dismissed, reprimanded, or
So the
absolved.
local police is subject to the pleb?
Yes, correct. Per city. Since 1991 pa yan. And in fact, very, very little is known about the pleb. So nung nandun ako, talagang sinubukan natin buhayin for the past 4 years. And medyo naging successful tayo, pero syempre kulang pa rin. Isa lang yung Quezon City. Happy nga ako kay Mayor Joy. Shout out to Mayor Joy na reorganize niya yung pleb ng Quezon City. At medyo yun ang pinaka-active na pleb.
Attorney, I'm guessing your experience with pleb is what got you this appointment.
Yes.
Hoping maybe that you can apply certain things from one to the Napolcom.
If I may, if I may.
Go
So
ahead.
yung sa pleb, sa damakmak yung case backlog dyan. In fact, ang lupit na minana natin na may 10-year cases, 12-year cases, sobrang dami. So in my first 6 months, from those immense backlog, 0 backlog na tayo ngayon. And the cases from filing of the complaint until the decision, 60 days. I think that's the fastest in the country. So nakapag-file ng complaint, nasampa for probable cause, hanggang naglabas ng decision, may hearing na yun, hearing, 60 days.
Mas madali bang imbestigahan kapag involved yung mga PNP, for
Napakahirap,
example?
napakahirap.
Or
yan.
is it harder?
It's
Kumbaga
more
compared to a
difficult.
civilian?
It's more difficult. Siyempre, may tsapa at uniforme at baril yan. Totoo lang, nakakatakot yan eh. Di ko alam, ba't ako napadpad dyan eh.
So wait lang. So when you try the policemen sa pleb,
Yeah.
you make a recommendation to the LGU.
No, it is our decision.
It is enforced
We are-
right away
No,
by
no.
the PNP.
Yeah, it is, how should I put it? Theoretically, syempre, kailangan enforce ng PNP yun, but it is the decision of the pleb. So, the pleb's decision is immediately executory. So, pag nagsabi yung pleb, dismiss.
Okay, why we invited you here
Yeah.
is because we know that Quezon City
Yeah.
is described by some as the ground zero of
Yes.
Duterte's drug war
Yes.
here in Manila. Referring to the Batasan Police Station, which was where sinabi na doon daw yung
Station
Davao
six.
Boys.
Station
Oo,
six,
sinulat
yeah.
ni, I think, Manny Mogato sa kanyang Pulitzer Prize-winning article. Meron bang nakarating sa'yo ng mga ganong kaso na extrajudicial killing? Were you able to solve it in 60 days? I mean, how do you...
Ito, nalulungkot nga ako, hindi sila nag-file ng kaso sa akin eh. I was appointed 2020, the tail end of the Duterte administration. July 2020 ako na-appoint. So there were no cases filed. In fact, because walang may alam ng pleb, sadly, during that time, konting-konti yung papasok na mga EJ case dyan. In fact, takot yung tao mag-file na kahit anong kaso dyan. But hindi kami natakot noon sa pleb, hindi man kami nakapag-hear ng kaso about EJ case because nasa dulo na kami. Ang ginawa namin during that time, inibutan namin yung mga red tagging. So yung mga pag-upo ko, yun na dinatnan ko. Yun ang uso nun. Yung nagbebenta na lang ng gulay, tapos komunista ka na. So yun ang, we put a stop to it. We issued show cause orders.
So
dun sa...
there was no case filed on EJ case?
None. Nag-aantay ako. Actually, I was hoping for that case.
Meron bang expiry date ng mga kaso? Meaning, can I file a case now? Now na, kunyari, ngayon lang ako nakahanap ng lakas loob, pero yung issue nagyari pa 2016. Part pa tayo ng Rome Statute nun.
Hindi, walang kinalaman ni Rube Statute sa pleb. So you can actually file a case with the pleb. You can actually file a case with IAS. You can file a case with the Napolcom. Since we're now talking about Napolcom, file it with Napolcom.
Di ba nag-overlap yung mga...
Overlap
Yun nga
siya.
eh. So parang, kasi di ba lagi natin pinag-uusapan, even President Marcos says, right-size the bureaucracy. So kung may pleb tayo, of course, kailangan talaga ng IAS. I think lahat naman ng police forces may ganun. Pero may pleb tayo, meron tayong Napolcom, di ba Oo, yun nga.
Hindi, kasi baliktad ang power malupit sa state eh. So sobrang the state wields so much power, especially the policeman. So under the law, given the guidance of the legislature, yung mga Congress and the Senate, they deemed it wise to put up check and balance mechanisms in government. So yun ang wisdom nila, and we have to agree to that.
But could you help us understand why the former president keeps on saying in the hearings that no case has been filed against him and against all else that's being tagged in the drug war? Is it very difficult? Because it's one thing to file a case and another thing to get evidence and to get witnesses to come forward, which is sinasabi rin ni former Justice Secretary Laila de Lima na takot yung mga witness na magsalita. Pero 3 taon na sa Marcos administration at wala pa rin kaso. Can you help us understand what's the difficulty that we face in investigating our own police force?
Yung criminal case, syempre nag-aantay pa rin sila ng complainants. Of course, it's a case done against the state, no? Pero syempre, para tumayo yung kaso, kinakailangan ng complainant. Pero if I may say, no, so in this particular case, there may be 2 relevant cases. Criminal cases, which can be filed with the DOJ, and administrative cases, which can be filed with the Napolcom. So yung criminal case, yun yung kulong. Yung administrative case, yun yung fitness to be a policeman. So kung yung level ng ebidensya na kailangan for someone to be put to jail, mataas yun eh. Beyond reasonable doubt. Mas mababa nang di hamak yung evidentiary requirement kapag administrative case. So in a way, siguro kung may gusto mag-file ng case with Napolcom doon sa EJK, very much welcome. We can investigate.
Okay, Attorney, in your work nga with QC Pleb, you take pride in resolving cases as fast as 60 days. Sabi mo, pinakamabilis sa Pilipinas. You think you can replicate that on a national level?
Sana.
Is that doable?
Sana.
Tawagin natin the pleb system.
Sana. Sana.
Kung may Davao model.
If I may, no, and gusto ko maintindihan nyo rin, I am just one vote. I am only one of 6, a 6-member commission.
Correct.
I cannot impose my will on the other 5. I can only speak for myself.
Pero majority wins yan, di ba? When you vote, it's
yes,
the
pero
usual.
kunwari, itong gusto ko, 60 days tayo. But I cannot speak for the 5. I can only speak for myself.
There's still 1 empty spot right now. There's 4 commissioners, right? 6 actually. 1 is General Marbil, PNP chief. Second is the DILG secretary. Then there's 4 civilian kind of like commissioners. Ba't bakante yung isa pang spot?
It was just filled up.
Today also?
He reported to work today. So we were supposed to meet the SILG 2 o'clock earlier today, pero nagkaroon ng NDRRMC since may bagyo, di ba? So na-cancel yon. So we are rescheduling.
Ari ba namin malaman kung sino yun?
Tingnan lang natin yung announcement.
Okay.
Pero gusto ko yung sinabi mo sa iyong Facebook post. Panahon na ng pagbabago, panahon na para magtagumpay ang tama at totoo, tapos na ang patayan sa ating bayan. It ends now. Police abuse stops with me and this government, ang bagong police malinis. How do you plan to do that? And are you listening to the hearings? Is there any way that their cases will be built against those the revelations in the hearings?
I plan to meet and seek clearance with the SILG. Kita naman natin the DOJ already formed a task force to investigate the EJ case, at least for the criminal aspect. Like I mentioned, we need to discuss the administrative aspect of that. And I cannot do it on my own. So I'm just one. So I need to bring in the other 5 so we can investigate the EJ case as far as administrative liability is concerned. So ang pangako ko sa taong bayan, yung isang boto na yan, gagamitin natin yan, we will make sure na yung 1 vote na yan, it will count. And I promise, though we are friends with the PNP, hindi natin kaaway yan. Ang PNP, kaibigan natin, tatay ko at nanay ko, nakasuot ng uniforme, hindi natin para sirain
Ang
yan.
reports na nakakarating sa Napolcom, galing kanino?
What do you mean?
Sino ang naghahain ng report?
Anyone can file a case.
Anyone?
Iba yung,
Civilians?
Civilians.
Oh, okay.
Anyone.
Okay.
Even you. Even an ordinary guy. Even anyone. So, welcome. Welcome siya. So, ang akin dito, if anyone files a case with us, pangako ko sa inyo, yung boto ko, I can speak for the other 5. Pero yung isa na yun, I will try to make sure, and I'm doing my job right now, pati yung legal service, kinausap na natin, we will try to investigate these cases.
Day 1.
Congratulations on the appointment, and we hope na ma-whip ninyo yung other commissioners into
We do hope to
fast
see
action.
cases come to life because we've been talking about that for a long time.
But for tonight, no, wala na tayong oras. Nagagalit na si Maris.
It is.
It is almost time to say goodbye. So, but thank you so much for joining us on the first day of work.
Oh, it is a Friday.
It is a Friday. We'll, I guess, call you back pagka medyo gumagalaw na. We understand it's just the beginning. Okay. We have Napolcom, newly minted Napolcom Commissioner Rafael Calinisan. And like we said, wala na tayong oras. Friday, but no reason to pa-chill-chill lang. Kasi kailangan natin magbantay ng panahon. That's it for the big story tonight.
We are One News, all sides, all the time.
Please stay safe and stay dry over the weekend. Thank you very much for tuning in to the big story. Stay tuned because coming up next is Play-by-Play with Andre Felix and Cheska Litton-Calao. Over to you guys.
Thank you, Gretch, Reg, and Boss Pawi, and of course kay Attorney.
Wala si Regina.
Wala pala si Reg. Sinong ano? Sean. Kita Sean, sorry naman. Oo nga, sorry. Get well pala sa anak ni.
Happy Friday!
Happy Friday.
Gusto ko si Cheska na nakaganon lang.
Oo nga, napatingin. Pero si Attorney, thank you din. We enjoyed that show, right, Ches? And now for the sports fans, well, we've got a packed Friday show for you guys. We'll take a peek at Gilas Pilipinas' preparations for the FIBA Asia Cup qualifiers, plus a look ahead to a crucial game day in the UAAP men's basketball tournament. We'll be talking to UST head coach Pido Arencio and Adamson head coach Nash Casella.
And a thrilling battle between the Mavs and the Jazz in the only game in the NBA today.
I'm Andre Felix.
And I'm Cheska Litton-Calao.
And here's tonight's Play-by-Play.
Ramiro.